Yanderes. You either love them or you have self-preservation. But who was the first yandere? If you're around my age, which based on channel demographics, there's at least a 50% chance you probably are, Yuno from Future Diary may have been your first encounter with a yandere character. Or possibly it was the game School Days or its anime adaptation. Or the infamous shit show that is Yandere Simulator. This character archetype was kind of everywhere in the 2000s and 2010s and is still pretty popular in some circles. But how did we get here? Who was the first of this character archetype? To find the first yandere, we first need to make sure we understand what this archetype even is. A yandere character is a character who is sick with love, characterized by obsession, possessiveness, and using means of violence to express that love. Think the character who kills others to keep their love interest to themselves, or characters who kidnap their love interest in order to get closer with them, or keep them to themselves. I do want to say, while that is the, popular definition of a yandere, it's only a small subsect of yanderes. These characters do typically start out very innocent and lovey-dovey, luring their love interest in, hence the dere of the yandere, since dere is just love-struck. But for one reason or another, these characters become incredibly unwell due to the magnitude of their love, and an ugly side comes out. Usually this ugly side comes out as a result of something happening, either extreme jealousy, betrayal, a traumatic event. Sometimes, yandere characters try to keep showing the more pleasant, kind, and cute person they were at the start, and it creates this duality in the stark contrast between the sickness with love, the potential violence, and the cute, I love you so much kind of energy. There are a few different subtypes to the yandere character archetype. You have the aggressive and violent ones, the delusional ones that are not really violent, maybe still aggressive, but their main identifier is incredibly unwell and delusional. The ones that worship their love interest, think Misa from Death Note. It's important to note that the yandere isn't exclusive to girls that kill for love. So, who was the first baddie that loved their special person so much they became a problem? Many people, myself included, may have thought at one point that Yuno was the first yandere. She certainly was one of the most popular yandere characters of the 2010s, but the face of yandere wasn't put out into the world until 2006, when the Future Diary manga started publishing. However, in April of 2005, the visual novel School Days was released, and was in fact the origin of the term yandere. Surely this counts for something. For those who don't know, School Days follows Makoto Ito as he navigates being infatuated with one of his classmates, Kotonoha Katsura, and making friends with another classmate and potential love interest, Sekai Saionji, who is seemingly very interested in his relationship with Kotonoha. Sekai does develop feelings for Makoto, and we find ourselves in a classic love triangle. Except things don't really stay classic, I hope. I hope this isn't your usual love triangle experience. Sekai doesn't handle jealousy very well. In many of the endings for the visual novel, Kotonoha dies. But the ending that became the most well-known, at least I think, was the anime ending, where Sekai stabs Makoto and takes his severed head to Kotonoha. This distresses Kotonoha, and she kills Sekai. She also takes Makoto's severed head and considers this their happy ending. I think this is what gives School Days the reputation for being extremely messed up, which I read the manga in high school, and that ends differently and much more tame, and I could not figure out why people were freaked about it. This makes much more sense. Anyway, Sekai and Kotonoha are a bit sick in the head for Makoto, to say the least, and Kotonoha has earned her spot alongside Yuno as one of the founding queens of yandere. Except, she didn't found yandere. She helped popularize it, sure. Kotonoha, Yuno Kaede Fuyo from the Shuffle anime specifically, and Shion Sonozaki from Higurashi are all credited as being the main characters to bring yandere to the mainstream. But yanderes go back farther than this. Many may consider Yuno Sasai as the originator of the modern-day yandere. She's from a visual novel called Silver that came out in 2000, and I don't really know much about this game other than the fact that it's like, an erotic game, and I guess there are different, storylines you can play throughout it. But I do know this is not the earliest example of a yandere character. My next thought for tracing back the yandere archetype is Jojo's Bizarre Adventure. It's widely believed that Yukako from Part 4 was the first yandere in manga. She's absolutely obsessed with Koichi, kidnapping him and acting as a villain of the week at first. But eventually she softens up, and the two are a couple for the rest of Part 4. However, despite softening up, she does still remain a little bit obsessed and a little bit aggressive. She just no longer holds Koichi hostage to keep him to herself. Araki, the creator of JoJo's, based Yukako's character on Annie Wilkes from Misery, which would kind of make Annie Wilkes maybe an OG yandere girly. He also wanted to create a female character that stood in opposition to the cutesy perfect moe girl, showing a different side women were capable of. Yukako was first introduced in Chapter 294, or the 29th chapter of Part 4, which was published in November of 1992. She's also cited as the first modern yandere, and many believe her to be the first one in anime and manga. So, is she? I believe I know of an older one. The manga, Dear Brother by Ryoko Akita, ran in 1974 and contains a character that would fit the yandere archetype, Mariko Shinobu.
ダメよ、男の人となんか付き合っちゃ。
Bit of a caveat, Mariko may not count to some because of the nature of her relationship with Nanako. They may not expressively be romantic, but Dear Brother plays in the realm of Class S relationships, which are romantic friendships between girls. So I'm saying it counts. Mariko is instantly drawn to Nanako and a bit infatuated. Mariko begins to isolate Nanako from her already existing friends, driving a wedge between Nanako and Tomoko, trying to make herself Nanako's only friend. She tries to monopolize Nanako's time, growing possessive. Mariko is very affectionate towards Nanako and eventually starts to scare Nanako when she becomes a bit more aggressive. Mariko is the exclusionary yandere type, trying to exclude others to make sure her affection towards Nanako is the only thing Nanako sees. I will say, Mariko is a yandere character that gets better, due to Nanako setting strong boundaries and still showing love and support, eventually integrating Mariko into her already existing friend group. So, is Mariko the first yandere? Well, that depends on if you're limiting yandere to just anime, manga, and visual novels. The farther back we go, the harder it becomes to definitively say who was the first of an unestablished archetype. There probably were older examples of the sick in love archetype in earlier manga that have since been lost to time, forever in obscurity in manga that didn't get the popular treatment, immortalized online for everyone to easily stumble across. The yandere archetype, while in presentation may feel pretty unique to Japanese media, with the use of specific tropes within the archetype, can actually be found outside of anime, manga, and visual novels. The idea of a person being sick with love is not unique to Japan. Mental illness and abusers are seemingly everywhere and have always existed. And yes, I said abusers because at the end of the day, a lot of these yandere characters are in fact abusive, whether they mean to be or not. The person who's so obsessed with their love interest that it makes them sick, makes them violent, maybe makes them dangerous. We have stories like this all across the world that date back as far as we've had stories. I've even seen people make the argument that Ishtar from the Epic of Gilgamesh is a yandere since she violently lashes out against Gilgamesh and Enkidu when Gilgamesh turns her down. For those who don't realize how old that is, the Epic of Gilgamesh is an ancient Mesopotamian epic that is considered the world's oldest surviving narrative. It is functionally the first story. It serves as a foundational work for religions and the hero saga. Gilgamesh is kind of the blueprint for characters like Hercules, and also the story was inspiration for Homeric epics like the Iliad and the Odyssey. But tying things back to Japan, since the exact version of this character archetype we're talking about is the Japanese yandere, the first yandere character in Japanese literature is said to be Lady Rokujo from The Tale of Genji. the world's first novel written in the 11th century. Lady Rokujo was one of Genji's mistresses, and she eventually grew jealous of his other lovers, wishing to be the only one. Genji also loses a little bit of interest in her, seeing her less, which upsets her. This upset and jealousy causes her wandering spirit to become a vengeful wraith that attacks and kills many of Genji's other side pieces and wives. Lady Rokujo's spirit wants Genji to suffer because he didn't return her feelings. This high jealousy is a part of the yandere archetype. Being as possessive as a yandere character is of their love interest is due to the fear of someone taking their love interest away, and the idea that they're entitled to their love interest. Lady Rokujo desired Genji's affection, and felt that she should be his sole lover. Her feelings spiraled to jealousy for the other women that Genji saw, and this jealousy led her spirit to lashing out and hurting others. Sounds like a yandere to me. I don't think it would be possible to track back the yandere archetype any farther, at least not without a time machine. We literally went to the beginning of novels and ancient stories that have survived through time. As for anime and manga specifically, I do believe Mariko from Dear Brother is among the earliest examples of a yandere archetype in manga, at least the earliest that has resisted being forgotten to time. Or at least the earliest that is widely known outside of Japan. I am willing to admit this gap in my knowledge. I don't know Japanese. I'm very limited to English sources. I genuinely cannot think of anything earlier than Mariko in anime and manga, and also, I don't think visual novels are much of a thing prior to Mariko's existence. Even after Mariko's existence, visual novels are more of like a 90s and up? Maybe 80s? I don't know. Computers were still kind of new. Did I really make a yandere video for, like, Valentine's Day? Yeah, I did. Happy Valentine's Day. I hope you're safe from a yandere. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. It was a bit shorter, a little bit more goofy and fun. I just wanted to know who the first yandere was, because for the past 7 years, I thought it was Yukako from Jojo's. And then I realized, wait a damn minute. I know of at least one character that predates her that would be in this archetype. So, we had to go on a little adventure. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in my next video, whenever that may be. I'm trying to make videos more frequently again, so hopefully I will see you guys soon. Bye!